in the Ice Cave. I am your host, the Ice Bear himself, Brett Harrington, and today I got a very special guest with me, Jacob Moore from 123 Dream.
Honored to be here, man. Honored to be here.
So the reason why he's here today with me is because, well, if most of you don't know, it's Wrestlmania week. Woo. So we're going to be talking about our 10 favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. 5 from me, 5 from him. No particular order in which we say which one. So I'll start it off. With me, my favorite is my, I guess, least favorite out of this is the Rock Cena feud, because they over-gimmitized it because it was like once in a lifetime, but it happened twice in 2 years. And on top of that, I literally watched that feud at WrestleMania 18 when it was Rock versus Hogan. Same scenario, young star taking the company to the next level, old veteran bastard who just won't leave. And that's why that one's like my least favorite out of my 5.
I don't know. Like, I watched the match today. I love the match psychology.
Don't get me wrong, like, I love the match itself, but I just, storyline wise,
you didn't like it?
I didn't like it. I've literally seen this. I'm like, there was plenty of other stars that could have been.
But who's gonna be as much of a attraction as Punk? Ah, yeah.
Yeah, he had the summer of Punk. And, like, they literally, like, I was never a big fan of Punk. Personally, I just thought he was a whiner. That he whined too much, but, you know, that, everyone has the right to their own opinion. I'm also a big Roman Reigns fan. Oh, there you go, everybody. I'm a Roman Reigns fan.
We gotta cut this off now.
But that's beautiful about professional wrestling. It's all opinion-based. Jacob?
I wrote a list. Honestly, I'm gonna start with Stone Cold versus The Rock. It's at the bottom of my list because
Which one, though?
The first one.
The first one.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of fetishes with first matches. Later on in my list, I'll be announcing Undertaker versus Shawn, but I will only choose the first one. I won't choose a career versus a streak.
Really?
I'm not going with the career versus a streak. It disappointed me. I felt like everyone knew, like, the streak was not going to end. But we knew Shawn Michaels' career was going to end, similar to the fact how we knew that when Michaels went against Flair, which is also on my list, we knew Flair's career
kind of
end.
Yeah, which was very upsetting because, once again, like, I've been a big fan since I was a little kid. Grew up mid-90s. Seeing Ric Flair retire was kind of sad for me, but at the same time, I'm like, he's an old bastard. He needs to get out.
And then the man goes to TNA.
Which ruins his career.
What?
Which ruins his career, but that's not the point. So at my number 4 spot, this one's kind of near and dear to my heart because, like, earlier I was wearing a Triple H shirt. Triple H is, like, my all-time favorite wrestler, gimmick-wise. The whole I'm the man.
King of Kings.
So it's at WrestleMania 18 is my his main event against Chris Jericho. Yeah, I know it wasn't the highlight because, you know, you had the whole Rock versus Hogan. Grizzly bastard star of this going forward. But it is what it is. And it's purely because it's just close to my heart that I just love that story of Triple H trying to get back at his ex-wife at the time. Storyline wise, clearly they're actually married in real life. We all know it. Pro wrestling's fake if you didn't know that already. Sorry for spoiling it for everybody.
Just broke my heart. Nah.
I'm sorry.
You're good. I love the pedigree that Triple H gave Stephanie.
Oh, those are always my favorite.
But I would have been mad if Jericho won that match off of a chair shot. It would have been a nasty end to the feud, and Triple H did deserve to win that. Interesting fact about Triple H, so even though he has, like, one of the most WrestleMania wins, he also has the most WrestleMania losses.
I know, but because, you know, he's a company guy now, he can't be not putting stars over like Booker T. But
we're not gonna
go there.
Yeah.
So, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Rock versus Hogan.
Oh, of course.
I'm going with Rock versus Hogan because I actually love the storyline, but I was born in 97, so you have to look at it from my point of view. It was the first time I saw Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This man was breaking into Hollywood versus Hulk Hogan. At the time, I was like, what?
Grizzly old bastard.
Grizzly old bastard as he is, and, you know, maybe he says a lot of things that he shouldn't, but And then I love the match psychology, how the fans got into it, and then actually they actually turned on The Rock in favor of Hogan, in which The Rock destroys them in the Toronto promo when he goes back to Canada, because WrestleMania 18 was held in Canada. He destroyed them, but it was one of those things you don't see in pro wrestling anymore. The fans determining a match. Having The Rock having to switch from a baby face to a heel in the middle of a match is just... Maybe it should be higher up on my list, but what do you think?
It's a great match. It's one of everyone's favorites. I know Hogan didn't say the most appropriate things behind closed doors, but it was behind closed doors. We're not going to get into it because that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're talking about WrestleMania, guys, because WrestleMania is coming up. So at number 3 for me is the 2 matches between Shawn and Taker.
Okay.
I like both of them. I couldn't really decide on which one, but I knew they had to go in the number. I knew they had to be in here.
Definitely.
And there's a reason why they're not number 2, and it's coming up afterwards.
Okay.
When number 2 comes up, obviously. But I just love the ring psychology of the first match, how Shawn was so close to beating him, but that moonsault, he got stuck, pile driver, boom, 1, 2, 3. Taker retains. And then the way I loved how Shawn had a mental breakdown trying to get back to Taker. And at the Royal Rumble, you see it on his face. It's one of my favorite Royal Rumbles to watch. It's just him agonizing as his hands just fall from the rope. And then, of course, you got the Elimination Chamber, like a month later or something like that. Taker gets burned, still wrestles it because, he's a grizzly old bastard. That's what they do. And Shawn comes out and screws him, which sets up career versus streak. We already talked about it. We know how it ends. Shawn retires. But still one of my favorite matches of all time to watch. To this day.
I loved it. And you know what? What's my number 3? My number 3 was Flair versus Michaels, but we already talked about that. So you know what, Brett? You won me over.
Yeah!
You won me over.
Woo!
You got it.
We got that number 3. So... I guess we could go right to 2?
We go right to 2.
Okay, so
Bring it.
This is the reason why 3 was at 3. Was Triple H versus Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, end of an era. Oh my god, this match was perfectly done. The whole Undertaker references, you couldn't do the one thing, you can't do the one thing your buddy came so close to doing, and that's ending my streak. And you could see that in the match as Triple H is beating Taker with chair shots after chair shots after chair shots after chair shots. Kendo sticks. Whatever he could hit him with, he was hitting him with. And then Shawn pleading with Taker, just saying, end the match. Please end the match. And Taker, once again, my favorite line to say apparently is grizzly old bastard. Because that's what he clearly was. And so I'm looking at this match saying, if Taker wins this, he's getting stretchered off. Well, let's just get to the end of the match. Shawn goes to super kick Taker. Taker catches it, throws him away. Triple H goes for pedigree. Taker reverses it somehow. Tombstone, 1, 2, 3. End of the cage goes up. They all go walk up. They all hug it out. And that's why it's called End of an Era match.
Because there will never be another thing like
There will never be another match when you have all 3 grizzly old bastards in the ring.
I agree. Honestly, when I text you, I said HBK versus Shawn, so that's my era. So I'm gonna just make up a WrestleMania match out of the blue. I think it was actually supposed to be Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus, can I say this name? Chris Benoit.
That was a crowning moment for Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
And, okay, let's just be straight. It just wasn't Chris Benoit's night, because earlier in the night, Eddie Guerrero won his first WWE championship in I would like to say, his move to heavyweight.
Yes.
Because I know you know this, and I obviously know this. He used to be a cruiserweight, junior heavyweight, lightweight, whatever you want to call it these days, because there's freaking 50 different million names for it at this point. He was a cruiser, and that's a big jump, and you can clearly see in his body type steroids, but he got bigger.
Yeah.
You go back to
it was Chris Benoit was always portrayed as the underdog, the man who was never good enough to like really beat someone. And then every time he went into the match, we was like, yeah, he's the underdog. I go back to matches with looking at Chris Benoit versus Big Daddy V. Rest in peace to both of them. And look at how Chris just fights and fights and fights. And look at even a match where Triple H and Shawn both try to eliminate Benoit early, so it could just be be between them, because once again they're old, grizzly bastards. And so it's just like, it was just so fulfilling to see Triple H tap out.
Once again, he's not always an asshole. He does put young talent over occasionally. But Chris Benoit really wasn't a young talent. He was just a proven talent.
Yes, and he deserved it.
So I think we're at the time.
We're at the time.
We're at our number one slot.
One.
So, okay, this is kind of like, this is corny to say, but to me, it deserves to be the number one spot. It has to be WrestleMania 3, the main event, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
You're going with that.
Because, and the reason why it's so corny is because everyone says it.
Yes.
Everyone says it, but like, I'm going to bring some facts to back up my claim. First off, until WrestleMania 32, that was in Dallas, Texas, it was the highest attended WrestleMania of all time in Forbes Dome, or whatever they call it. I can't remember what they called. Not helping my facts right now, but it's okay. And at the time, Andre's never been pinned in the WWE ring or even body slammed. And Hulk Hogan, great star in the 80s, great star in the 90s, even great star in the 2000s. Hell, if he came back today, all he would have to say is, "I'm sorry." And literally everybody would forgive him.
Legit.
Which rumor has it, could be true.
Could be true.
But, so you had the immovable object, Andre the Giant, against the irresistible force in Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania. This is what launched Hulk Hogan to the stratosphere. And honestly, I understand in Ric Flair's documentary, Hulk Hogan says that Ric Flair was a better wrestler. He might have been a better in-ring performer, but there was nobody who captured the hearts and minds of little kids more than Hulk Hogan. And with that, a body slam in the most devastating finisher of all time. The Hulk Hogan leg drop. I'm telling you, to me, Sid shouldn't even have kicked out of it, but he did. Bullshit. But it is what it is. And that's why it's at number one for me.
Okay. I think I mentioned my number one already. It's Undertaker versus Michaels, WrestleMania 25. Let me explain. If you look at the history, Michaels was just getting over the JBL feud, in which Michael was a poor bastard, and JBL was basically buying him and forcing him to lay down for him time after time after time again. Think about it. We have the showstopper, HBK, Mr. WrestleMania, laying down for JBL. I mean, JBL was nice. He was the best heel on SmackDown in the 2004. He definitely deserved a title run, even though many people won't say it. But to get from that rivalry...
Well, let's be honest. The title run that he had was because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. Paul Heyman said it perfectly.
Definitely. Getting back to it, though. So HBK finally done with JBL, finally got his sanity back, his confidence back, is at an all-time high. And you know what he says? He says, "I'm not going for a world title, I'm not going for none of that. I'm going for the Undertaker streak." Do you know, this man went in a graveyard. This man was just fucking with Taker. No one has ever fucked with Taker except for like CM Punk, but...
That was a bullshit feud. No
yeah, that's bullshit.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was too close to reality because... Paul Bearer literally passed away like 3 months before.
Yeah, that was
too close to reality, personally. Once again, wasn't the biggest CM Punk fan. I think CM Punk should have personally been in something else. I personally think End of the Era should have been Taker's final match. CM Punk, one of those 2 years, 28, 29, just make it a triple threat. We've seen what CM Punk Cena could do. Now imagine if you throw someone in there like The Rock.
Exactly. And I feel like CM Punk facing Taker was just the company's way of saying, "Hey, you wanted that main event spot." And while it's Taker, not taking anything away from Taker, CM Punk deserved the WrestleMania spot. But getting back to it, Michaels, Taker, the match psychology
versus hell.
The dead man versus the showstopper.
Mr. WrestleMania versus the streak. Oh, sorry, we're not talking about the next one. Perfect match.
Perfect. That's all I can say. I don't even have to explain it to the viewers. They already know.
And if you don't know, go on WWE Network for how much?
$8.99, $7.99, $8.99.
$9.99 a month.
$9.99. Wow.
So
I use my friends.
$10 a month. You get to see everything that we just literally talked about. Thank you for watching. This has been Jacob Moore. I'm the Ice Bear.
Thank you for having me.
This is the Ice Bear in the Ice Cave. Stay tuned.